There are many famous quotes attributed to Mr. Rohn, but I think one of my favorites of all is this: work harder on yourself than you do on your job. If you work hard on your job, you can make a living. If you work hard on yourself, you can make a fortune. Income seldom exceeds personal development. G'day and welcome. My name is Willem, and on this channel I share the philosophies and the wisdom that Mr. Rohn shared with me over 30 years ago. By consistently applying and executing on the philosophies and the principles he taught me, I've been able to lead a life on my terms, and I know that if you execute on the principles that he shared with me, that I share on this channel, you too can live a life on your terms. If I can do it, I know you can do it. I would like to thank Ben Knapp for asking me to do a video on this quote. I'm surprised I haven't done it before. When I was young, I used to work hard. I still work hard. I've always worked hard. The problem was, when I was younger, I was working hard on my job, not on myself. And when I finally met Mr. Rohn and I heard that quote, the penny dropped. I realized I'd been working, but I've been working on the wrong things. And ever since that day, I have never ceased to work hard on myself and try and improve on my own personal development. But how do you actually work hard on yourself? What are the areas, what are the key subjects that you need to understand so that you can really put your maximum effort into those key areas? After all, the old Pareto principle that 20% of things make 80% of the difference also applies in personal development. So what are those 20%? And I've got three that I think are critical if you really want to start living the life you're capable of living and working on your own personal development. And if you stay to the end, I've got a bonus for you. I've got a PDF that lists the top 10 books that I have found over the last 30 years have made the most dramatic impact on my own personal development. That's at the end of this video. Okay, so let's dive into these three key areas that I believe we all need to work harder on in our own personal development. And the first one is this: work harder on your philosophy. When I was young, I used to believe that the reason I wasn't doing well was politicians, or my parents, or some other external event. When I met Mr. Rohn, I realized I had been barking up the wrong tree. The reality is that where we are right now is a result of the decisions we have made right up to this point. You're watching this video because, and thank you, you're watching this video because you made a decision to press the play button, okay? So where we are right now in our health and in our finances is a direct result of the decisions we've made right up to this point. So when it comes to our personal philosophy, that's the first point I would make. Take full responsibility for where you are right now. The second point I would make on our personal philosophy is to be more grateful. Mr. Rohn always said, be grateful for what you have while you pursue what you want. And gratitude, unfortunately, I think, is often in short supply. We are always looking at what we don't have rather than looking backwards and realizing how much we actually do already have in our lives. And it's a philosophy that I've really adopted. I actually fill out a gratitude journal each morning and I say three things for which I'm grateful. I then text that off to my accountability partner in the States. So by starting the day each morning with three things for which you're grateful, it really puts your mind in a great frame of mind and gets you off to a great day. The third point I would raise in improving your own personal philosophy is recognition. Spend time trying to catch other people doing things right. Mr. Rohn always said, spend so much time praising other people that you don't need it for yourself. Only last week I was playing golf down at the peninsula here in Victoria, and I was with a gentleman that I'd never met before. We were playing partners, and for the entire 18 holes I was always praising a good shot, recognizing him when he did something well. And at the end of the day, he said, I just want to say that is one of the most enjoyable days of golf I've ever had. I really enjoy your company. And it's only because I was looking at recognizing when he did things well. And we all need that. We all need that personal recognition. Okay, so there are 3 keys that I think will really help you improve your personal philosophy. Number 1, take full responsibility for where you are right now. Number 2, spend time each morning being grateful for what you actually do have in your life. And 3, spend most of your time recognizing other people. Don't worry about too much about yourself. Don't worry about how well things are not or not going for you. Look for ways to recognize other people and celebrate their achievements. Now, the second area that I would work hard on yourself is this. It's your attitude. And that's probably not surprising. Have a positive attitude in everything you do. Be an optimist. I swear there is nothing more depressing than being around a pessimist. Someone who's always got a problem. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. You spend 3-4 minutes with these people and you become totally drained. Don't be one of those negative people. Be a positive person. Be the sort of person that people enjoy being around because their smile always lights up a room. That's my first point. Have a positive attitude. And the second point I would make with attitude is this. Go the extra mile in everything you do. Mr.Rohn used to say, do what you can, do the best you can. And unfortunately, I see people doing less than the best they can all the time. It's not that hard to go the extra mile. Zig Ziglar always used to say, go the extra mile, there's no one on it. And can I say in business, that is the one key that I have found has turned my life around. I have a friend in the States, Casey. She just swears by this now. Once I shared this philosophy with her, she is just excelling in her career, in her sales career, because she's going the extra mile in everything she does. And she said, Will, I just can't believe the results I'm getting. So do that for me. Go the extra mile in everything you do. Now, the third attitude I would ask you to develop is an attitude of a hunger for knowledge, a thirst for wanting to know more. And a big part of that is embracing books and reading as a consistent habit in your life. That one thing has probably made so much difference to me that it would be hard for me to quantify it. I have a pretty impressive library now. In fact, we had to get a custom one built in our home so that it could fit my books. I can't emphasize this enough. Have an attitude of wanting to read, wanting to learn. Curiosity will take you a long, long way. And many people have been hugely successful in their lives. I'm sure wherever you're wanting to go in your personal life, in your personal vision statement, somebody's probably had that same idea and they've been successful at it and they've written it down in a book exactly how they did it. You could save years of errors by simply reading that book. So I would strongly encourage you to adopt a philosophy of becoming an avid reader. Now, the third area where I think we all need to work harder on ourselves rather than our job is our communication skills. And at the very top of the list when it comes to communication skills, I would put active listening. I don't know who said it or where I heard it, but someone once told me, God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth. Make sure we use them in that proportion. And can I say, in my career, in my sales career especially, that one rule has made me a lot of money simply by shutting up and listening to what other people say. Because when you're talking, you can't learn anything. You only learn when you are listening. And when I say listening, I mean active listening. Active listening is different to passive listening. Active listening is when you say, oh, okay, John, can you tell me more about that? Oh, I can see how you would think that. Can you give me a couple of reasons as to why you really believe that? Expanding on what people tell you tells them that you are listening, you are cued in, you are giving them the most valuable thing that you can give anybody, and that is your time. Okay, so that's number 1 on communication. Become a great active listener. The second point I would make in communication skills is use people's name. We've all had the situation where someone's introduced themselves and we've gone, oh hell, can't remember the name. It was only recently when we were in Thailand and we met Vlad. Vlad was the customer services manager and he forgot my name one morning and he was very apologetic. So I shared with him what someone once shared with me, and that is to use someone's name that you just meet for the first time at least 3 times very early in the conversation. So it's, hi Harry, it's nice to meet you. Now tell me, Harry, how did you get here today? And Harry, what is it that you're hoping to get out of this conference? Using someone's name 3 times makes it something that you just retain. Repetition is the key to good communication. So there's a little hint for you. If you really want to become more popular at a party or when you're dating, make sure you use the person's name 3 times very early in a conversation so that you don't forget it. It's one of the best tips that I've ever learned when it gets to dealing with other people. Now, before I share the final point I want to make on communication skills, could I ask you to like this video if you're finding it useful, and even consider subscribing. I put one video out every week on something that Mr.Rohn shared with me, a quote or something he taught me that I've applied in my own life. And I'm doing that for the next 2 years. So if you'd like to join me on the journey, I'd love to have you as a part of it. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I always like to include a bonus at the end of the video. And if you really do want to work on your personal development, if you really want to work harder on yourself than you do on your job, I would strongly encourage you to have a look at the PDF I've put together on the top 10 personal development books that I personally feel have made the most impact on me in the past 30 years. There's a link available in the description below. So if you'd like to have a look at that, please feel free to download that PDF. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, I know you will enjoy the other videos that I've produced so far on what Mr.Rohn has shared with me. They're on a playlist, they're available up there. So feel free to have a look at those. As Mr.Rohn once said to me, work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Work harder on your philosophy. Work harder on your attitude. Work harder on your communication skills. And I promise, if you do, you will thank me later.